Hello, 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 everybody. Hi, I've got my fingerless gloves on because it is back to being cold. We've had Storm Babette and it's raining. And anyway, I'm in London. So in London here, I just want to say hi to everybody. Brilliant just to see everybody on here. Absolutely fantastic, and I think lots more people joining. So I just want to say huge hi. So many of you who are coming on right now are part of the Alberta Research Project, virtual volunteers, which I'm going to get onto in a later in this live. And so many of you are American Viscountess patrons, as well as Patron patrons. And I just saw that Victoria, our series producer for the entire American Viscountess series, is on as well. So the reason you all get to watch such high quality productions is because of Victoria. So there you go. And that is true. So can everybody hear me okay? Just give me a good, it says that the sound is working, so I just want to make sure. Just give me a thumbs up if the sound is working okay. But it does say it's all good in the world. Hi everybody. Yes, I do see your names. I can't say hi to everybody. We have over 120 of you on right now, which is pretty amazing. But I can see all your names coming in, so do keep commenting and saying hi. And I love the thumbs up that the sound is okay. So welcome to a cold and rainy London. We've had crazy weather today. It's been sunny. It almost felt like spring, kind of, sort of warmish, and now it's just completely turned to freezing cold. And yes, all that stuff, all that weather. I mean, listen, I have practically become British because all I do is talk about the weather. It's true, all I do is talk about the weather. So, oh my gosh, everybody's saying hi. So I just thought tonight, these lives have been these sort of live Q&As and live sort of me where I'm updating you really what's going on in the world of AV, and these are turning out to be hugely popular. So I thought I would put it into sort of three different categories tonight and chat with you all about what's going on in the world of American Viscountess, and it's going to be talking about what it was like filming at Blenheim Palace, which was just this week, how that relates to my letters that the virtual volunteers are all transcribing. Yes, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a couple of, or the Duchess of Marlborough Consuelo's Vanderbilt's letters that I found that Alberta had written, crazy. And then also just to talk to you about how we recently had 12 Americans come and stay at Patron, and how brilliant that was. So I just thought, again, please say hi and where you're from. Amazing. We've got Australia, New Zealand, Luxembourg, loads of you in the States. We have Canada, and do let me know what state you are tuning in from. If you're in the States, what you are, which one you're tuning in from. So yes, gosh, so brilliant. You guys are so lovely. The messages are just fantastic. I can't believe we have almost 200 of you on already, which is fantastic. So first and foremost, what was it like filming at Blenheim Palace? Well, first of all, it was a dream come true. So it was an absolute dream come true to film at Blenheim Palace. I mean, it's more stunning in person than it is on those photos that you see. So I do recommend, if any of you can make it over to visit Blenheim Palace here in England, do make the trip. It is absolutely stunning. With that, which was really interesting, I think, for me personally, was getting to understand Consuelo Vanderbilt a little bit more, because I think what is so fascinating is that Consuelo was born in 1877, and our American heiress, Alberta Sturgis, who later became the 9th Countess of Sandwich, was also born in 1877. So they were born the same year. And you might be asking, well, did their paths cross? Well, I assume that they probably would have, but the big difference, everybody, is that Consuelo was married in 1905 when she was just in 1895 when she was just 18 years old, and Alberta was married 10 years later in 1905 when she was 28. So there's a big decade gap there. And my research is starting to really make me think more as to, did Alberta actually even want to get married? We know that it was she had a socially ambitious mother, like Consuelo's mother as well. You know, for that Gilded Age, these mothers were socially ambitious so much that they wanted their girls to marry into this aristocracy, whether it be British or whether it be European. Now, what's also really interesting is that with Alberta being married in 1905, Consuelo, the 9th Duchess of Marlborough, and her husband, the 9th Duke, the marriage did technically end in 1906. She left, that was it. The marriage was done, but it took another 15 years for that marriage to be sort of legally over in 1921. However, I don't want to give too much away, but I am going to give a little bit because you guys are all on here live, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, and I'm sure many of you have known this by reading up a little bit about Blenheim Palace and Consuelo, is that she did not leave her letters that during that period, or in particular during that period, at Blenheim. So nobody knows where her letters are, if they even exist. Nobody can find them. And she, sorry, I have a child walking in front of me. He's doing very well. So he's not in the camera. Well done, William. So that is quite extraordinary and quite sad that none of her letters were saved. So the only really way to kind of uncover and really discover what it was like for Consuelo to live at Blenheim is through her book, her memoir, All the Glitter and the Gold. However, what is fascinating is that one of the virtual volunteer transcribers of Alberta's letters, which, by the way, there are thousands and thousands upon thousands, and it is considered the largest American heiress collection in history. And Alberta wrote to her aunt Tantine. She called her, well, Tantine is aunt in French, to Tantine, so her aunt Josephine, in 1906. And within that letter, she talks about the end of the marriage between Consuelo and the 9th Duke. And I don't want to give too much more away, but all I can tell you is that she was name dropping left, right, and center. It's fascinating, and we will be able to incorporate that letter into our episodes at Blenheim Palace. So we will be able to incorporate that letter, which is absolutely incredible. So that's number one. So I don't want to give away the letter because you're all going to have to watch the Blenheim Palace episodes, which will come out on the American Viscountess channel in 2024. But it's fascinating, and you can imagine how excited I was when this letter was discovered. And in fact, when I was at Blenheim, I mentioned this to the archivist there, who I did film with, and she would like a copy of that letter as well. So that's super exciting, really, really exciting. And I'm sure we're going to come across many more letters because, of course, the marriage technically didn't end until 1906. So you have that year of that gap between when Alberta married in 1905 and when the marriage was kind of over in 1906. And it was a good year. So Alberta married in July 1905, and really the marriage started to fall apart. Well, it was considered over, if you like, towards the end of 1906. So I'm sure we'll find many more letters. But let's also not forget that once the divorce / annulment, that's a whole other long story, was completely legalized in 1921, the 9th Duke of Marlborough married another American named, she was named Gladys Deacon. And she wasn't necessarily technically considered an American heiress. However, their relationship started pretty much after Consuelo left in 1906. So I suspect, I mean, I don't know, but once I start to dive more into Alberta's thousands of letters, which we're doing every single week in and week out, there might be some reference to Gladys Deacon as well, and with Alberta. Now, so I'm so happy. Vicky's just said that she's reading Consuelo's book since I recommended. It is incredible. So yes, that's right, Trisha, blending the letter with the Blenheim video is amazing. And Trisha is one of our virtual volunteers. Trisha, remind me, I can't remember, was that the one that you transcribed, or was that Mary? I can't remember. Sorry, because I'm going through other letters, which I'm going to talk about. I think it was Mary in the one of the volunteers, amazing volunteers. So I know it seems too long to wait, but you're just going to have to wait. And you're going to love it. Now today, this week, I was scanning more of Alberta's letters. You all have no idea what I'm finding out, but at Blenheim, there are beautiful pictures, portraits of Consuelo painted by Ambrose McAvoy. And again, I don't want to give too much away, but we also have at Patron in the Staircase Hall a wonderful portrait of Alberta by Ambrose McAvoy. And I cannot believe it. In fact, I sent it to Victoria, our series producer, today. And there is another letter that Alberta wrote referencing, there was a letter that Ambrose McAvoy wrote to Alberta, our American heiress, Countess of Sandwich, talking about the two of the paintings that he did, that he painted of the Duchess of Marlborough. I can't believe it. So definitely going to incorporate these letters and any more that we find into the episodes at Blenheim, because it is really, really exciting. It's the first time anybody has seen these letters. So the letters that we're transcribing right now are ones that I found in a huge metal case at Patron, and they have not been looked at or opened since her death in 1951. And the reason we know that is because she labeled and archived them herself, and she put bows on them. And you can tell that the ribbon, I should say, hasn't been touched since she put them in the metal case, probably right before her death. Now, we do have, in the Muniment room, we have boxes of other letters that are still decently packaged up, but never really looked at, or, well, none of them have been transcribed. We have thousands, everybody. So thousands, it's pretty incredible. And again, what makes Alberta's collection so extraordinary is, I mean, it's astonishing that she did this, that she requested that the letters that she wrote to people, and in particular her letters that she wrote to her mother, her brother, and her aunt Josephine Tontine, and they all preceded her in death. She asked for those letters to be returned to her. I feel that every letter I scan is a letter that Alberta wrote herself. Isn't that just crazy? And so today I was, so I'm going to move into the Alberta Research Project right now. I was scanning, or this week I was scanning a lot of more of her letters. In fact, I think this week I've done almost 200. I've scanned almost 200 letters. And remember, each of these letters have multiple pages. But in particular, she had bundled together with her lovely bow and ribbon a packet of letters called painters. Oh my goodness, everybody. The painters that that she was chatting with and who painted at Hinchingbrook, most of them portrait painters, is extraordinary. And in particular, Eric Kennington, you can find a lot of his work at the Tate. I found a sketch that he made of a pencil sketch, and I have that. And that was sent to Alberta. I also have another, which is really quite extraordinary, a Philip Burne-Jones, who again was another great painter. I have two amazing sketches that he put on paper to Alberta. And lastly, we do have quite a bit of Paul Maz. And again, he was during that period, more of a landscape painter, but what's interesting about Paul Maz, everybody, M-A-Z-E, is that he was great friends of Winston Churchill. I did not know that until I went to Blenheim and saw something that informed me, sort of an informational piece that informs visitors that Paul Maz is the one who taught Winston Churchill how to paint. And when you go to Blenheim, you can see several of Winston's works, and they look very similar to Paul Maz. So in fact, right behind me is a Paul Maz painting, and that is of his girlfriend, Jessie. And that is a Paul Maz painting. I mean, mostly he was a landscape painter, and he was very good friends of George and Alberta, the 9th Earl and Countess of Sandwich. And today I found another drawing in her painter letters of that Paul Maz gave to her, and it is it's just extraordinary, everybody. So I do feel as if these little sketches are in my world, they're quite valuable. So the one of Eric Kennington, and of course the one of Paul Maz. But isn't it amazing, that connection with Paul Maz? So for us, we have probably in total, it's at least George didn't sell these paintings. He was after Alberta's death, he sold quite a few paintings. But if I look around here, 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can see of Paul Maz, and at Patron we have quite a lot of Paul Maz as well. So he wasn't really considered one of the greats. So it's but it's nice to know that he taught Winston Churchill how to paint, and he was obviously a good painter. You can see that, but didn't sort of get up to that the same height as some of his contemporaries. So anyway, it's so exciting. It's really, really exciting. And those of you virtual volunteers who are on the Alberta Research Project, those sketches have been scanned, and I will put them up onto the private Facebook group as well. So they have been scanned, and it's really, really amazing. Yeah, it's so exciting. So that is, oh my gosh, everybody's on. So many of our virtual volunteers are on here. We've got Rebecca on here. It's incredible just to see so many of you all on here. And really nice of Brian and Rebecca and several of you on here talking about how becoming a patron, an American Viscountess one, and of course a Patron one as well, but I'm going to focus on the AV, the American Viscountess, how wonderful it is. It is a fantastic community, and so I just wanted to touch base on that, and then I'm going to go, I'm going to steer it towards what it was like having 12 Americans at Patron for 5 nights, 6 days, just over a week ago. But Patron is really important. It's an amazing, like-minded community of those of us who love castles, manors, and stately homes. And all of the kind support goes towards the high-quality productions that you see. We literally would not be where we are today and filming at places like Blenheim Palace if it was not because of our patrons. 100%. What you were seeing on YouTube wouldn't even exist at all, or even to the same quality, if it wasn't because of our patrons. And so I just want to focus on this really quickly about, from now, the 21st of October, or whenever you're watching this, up until November 15th, if you become an American Viscountess patron in the top 3 tiers, and listen to what the top 3 tiers are, the $20 tier is the Alberta Sturgis, 9th Countess of Sandwich tier. The $50 tier is Consuelo Vanderbilt. Who knew when we created these tiers well over a year ago, well over 2 years ago, that we would be filming at Blenheim and doing sort of an entire episode around these American heiresses. But Consuelo Vanderbilt, the 9th Duchess of Marlborough, that's the $50 tier, and then I had to bring in a little bit of America in there, even more so, with Grace Kelly. That's the $100 tier, the Princess of Monaco. And if you take out a yearly subscription or membership, I should say, in one of those 3 tiers, not only do you get 16% off. So if you look at Alberta, it's $20 a month, that tier, but if you take out a yearly membership, it's about $200, and you're supporting us with that $200. But between now and the 15th of November, if you take out one of those tiers within for a yearly membership, you will be sent a beautiful printed American Viscountess calendar that's going to be designed by my sister-in-law, Polly. So those of you who were at Grand Historic Tours last week and you saw in your bedroom the entire itinerary and the menus that were done, we had so many lovely printed sort of keepsakes that people could take away. That was all done by my sister-in-law, Polly. And she is creating a very, very special printed proper calendar for all of the patrons that are in one of those 3 tiers, have a yearly membership, or those who have been members for a year or more. So I just wanted to point that out because, and I'm just going to give you a little bit more about that calendar because I think it's really exciting. Just to, Victoria and I, while we were at Blenheim, we stayed up. Well, we usually come home and make supper and work the entire time. But with right now, and this is subject to change, but right now, within the months, we have, there's some photos are with me, some of them are separate, but it's Hinchingbrook, Berkeley Castle, Pitchford, just to name a few, Castle Howard, Blenheim, Mapperton, of course, is there. And within that, we're going to be sort of little anecdotes, some quotes from me as well, some coat of arms within the calendar are going to be scattered throughout. And so Polly is working on this now. And again, I'm going to put the link here for those of you who want to become an American Viscountess patron. I mean, I'm posting on it's a real community, everybody. It's like I upload the videos because you get early access to them and they're ad-free, but I also upload behind the scenes. I upload little snippets. I upload sort of bloggy stuff, just filling everybody in on what's going on. There's some podcasts up there. So you really get the bang for your buck, if you like. And also it's going towards a good cause. It's supporting this high quality production that has been compared to BBC or PBS, and it really is like that. And we couldn't be here without our patrons, and we would love you to be again a part of the American Viscountess community. So, oh my gosh, there's so many now people on here. The other thing I do want to mention before I talk about how incredible it was when we had, for the first time ever, 12 Americans to come and stay in the house. One thing I do want to mention is that on November 11th, it's Remembrance Day, and in 1923, Alberta and George raised funds and also donated towards it as well, and commissioned a sculpture called The Thinking Soldier, and it's right in the town center of Huntington, which is where Hinchingbrook House or Castle is, and that's where Alberta lived until her son had to sell it after the Second World War. But 1923, and you can see we're coming up to the 100-year anniversary, and so the woman who sculpted it was a great friend of Alberta's, and her name was Kathleen Scott, and she was the widow of the great Arctic explorer Captain Scott, and so I found letters again today between Kathleen and Alberta. And I have been asked to head to Huntington, which again is the town where Hinchingbrook is, to the town hall, to the center of the town hall. You can look it up, The Thinking Soldier. It's beautiful. And it was commemorating all those lives that were lost in the First World War, nobody knowing that there was actually going to be a Second World War. And I am unfortunately unable to make it because I will be in India on the 11th of November. But William, our son, is going, representing our family and of course me, and he will actually, they're going to be doing a re-unveiling of it to mark the 100-year sort of anniversary of when Alberta and George unveiled it. Isn't that pretty incredible? So, and I'll get footage for our patrons. So our patrons, William said he's definitely going to film it, and so he will get. I will be able to download that and create a video for our patrons, which is really, really exciting. And Brian, that's so lovely. Yes, it is an amazing community, and we are actually really hands-on. Everybody knows. I mean, that's like, I feel like I know everybody on the AV and the Matterton Live community, which is really wonderful as well. So I do want to do a little Q&A at the end, but I just wanted to talk about, chat to you a little bit about what it was like for me to have 12 Americans come and stay. I can't even talk about it without smiling, and I try not to get emotional. To stay at Matterton. I think for me it was something that I never thought would be possible, if that makes sense. Just because I think it was an idea that Luke and I had prior to the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit and it sort of had us push it out a little bit, but we made it happen, and it was, I mean, to say that it was a huge success, I think, is putting it mildly. It was a tremendous success, and Luke and I really feel that we made 12 good friends. Now, of course, I know several of them are our patrons here: Rebecca, Sally, Cheryl, and Rebecca and Mark, and I know that also Julie is a AV patron, and so I'd seen them, if you like, and Rebecca's on here as well, through screens, but to see them in the flesh and to be able to hug them and just to hang out with them every single day, whether that was in the hall for after dinner drinks, or whether that was sitting next to them at one of the meals, or in the drawing room, or we had a recital in the library, doing a bit of yoga outside on the croquet lawn. It was so wonderful, everybody. And for me to hear the house filled with American accents, and I can get quite homesick sometimes, it was just truly a blessing for me, the American who's been so far away from home and surrounded by British accents, my husband and 4 children and my in-laws and everybody I sort of encounter. I do love the British accent, don't get me wrong, but it was absolutely wonderful that I'd wake up every morning and the house was filled with American accents and happiness from those American accents, and just an excitement to be at Matterton. And it was wonderful, everybody. It was just, so I do hope that many of you might again come to stay with us at Matterton. We have another one next year, so I'll put that here. If you're interested, you can register your details. And we will be doing, hold on, there you go. We will be doing a YouTube video. It's being edited on Monday about the behind the scenes of the Grand Historic Tours tour, and it's just, look at Cheryl's, they're amazing, and it was just wonderful. So it was just wonderful. Gosh, what else do I say? It was like the highlight of not just even my year, but it was definitely one of the highlights of me sort of having been immersed into this family and absorbed into this family, and the manor itself. It was, I mean, it's right up there, everybody. I mean, it, you know, could go down in history as you know, my best time ever. Probably it will. So it was fantastic. So again, do check out grandhistorictours.com. Do check out becoming a patron. Like I said, if you even do the Alberta Sturgis, the Ninth Countess of Sandwich yearly subscription, if you get a 16% discount, it's $200, and it goes, and you get a wonderful calendar. You'll get a key ring, a pen, a notebook, a tote bag, as well as the calendar, and a photo of me in that lovely Corvette outside Mapperton, a signed photo. And it's, and that goes towards, again, your generous support goes towards creating these amazing episodes, and so much work goes into this. We are a nimble team of 4. When I say 4, I'm including Luke. He is our exec producer, and he's behind the scenes all of the time. There are things that probably people can't even see, but like Victoria knows, like getting proper public liability insurance and our drone insurance, and making sure that we have all we need when we go and film at these places, but also working with historic houses, and of course with Little Dot. That's a lot of Luke behind the scenes, and then Victoria works tirelessly, everybody, day in and day out, to direct, to produce, to help with the edit. I mean, she is way on the edit Zooms with Chris, and then so the work that goes into this, and we're constantly thinking of ideas, and Victoria does all the research for these houses. We don't just arrive blindly and saying, right, what should we film? Victoria really works hard into creating, again, the call sheets, but the briefs, the summaries, and we do, Victoria have, I don't even know how many Zooms per house, but countless amounts of Zooms. So we make sure that as much as we can, we meet with the people that we're going to be filming with before we end up there. So we have a structure in place. It's a lot, and this is a nimble team. And the high quality productions that we make with this nimble team. And then of course, Chris is drone, he's camera. By the way, Victoria is second camera. I need to mention that. I'm sure I'm missing out lots of the other bits that Victoria does as well, but second camera. And we are creatively thinking of how to even do better all the time, if that makes sense. And then Chris is sound. Although sometimes I like to say I'm sound recordist, cameraman, drone, and editor. And Victoria's and Chris are picking out music together. Victoria's doing the voiceover. It's incredible. So this is a nimble team, and if we didn't have the support of our patrons, we would have to stop making these programs. That is how cut and dry it is. So I just want to say thank you to our patrons. Thank you to all of you who financially will say, well, I can't do that right now, but do please watch all of the ads on YouTube. So when you watch an episode, it really does help us if we get eyeballs on the ads, because that gives us video ad revenue. So thank you very, very much for becoming a patron, being a part of the community. But also, if you can't become a part of the community, and I understand that as well, I know what the world is like right now, being supportive here is wonderful. Just being online with me right now, all these comments, that is support as well. And watching the ads is support. Getting eyeballs to watch our programs is support. So all of you are supporting. And so I just want to say a huge thank you from myself, from Luke, from Victoria, and from Chris. For those of you on Patreon and those of you who are watching on YouTube, those of you who are sending us wonderful messages, you all are our community. And when we started this project in 2021, never in a million years could we have dreamed that we would be where we are today. And that is because all of your support, eyeballs on these programs, talking about it, coming on here live. These lives are also a way for me to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and without me getting emotional. It's been very very emotional recently, just because I had the Americans in, and then that was wonderful, and I made 12 new friends, and also just realized gosh, despite what's going on in the world right now, and I don't go into that stuff, that's not what this is about, but I do love my country, and and it made me realize how much I really do miss my country as well. So, and that was nice having the Americans, because I do miss America. So, yes, so I think that's it. I'm going to sign off. There's a big rugby match happening in about 9 minutes, and I know everybody's going to want to come back into this spot and all watch the rugby together. I'm not really into rugby, but it's a British thing. I got to do it. They're all into it, so I've got to sit and watch it with them. So absolutely brilliant. Anyway, I'm going to put it one more time. Last time, those of you who want to become a patron, do check it out. It's super fun. I mean, I'm on it every day. I love it. It's incredible. And yeah, that's it. That's all right if you're late. We love it. So yes, thank you all so much. It's such nice comments. I'm just reading the comments right now. I want to cry because of the comments here, and you guys are just a huge support. All right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Milagro, thank you for your donation there. Really, always, you are just wonderful. Love it, and love you all. And I'll be back here next month, I think, for probably another live as well. They're rather fun, aren't they? I think they are quite fun. Okay, bye everybody, and big kiss. See you soon.